Of course, I'm gonna choose Gino because he's my husband and I do love him. And we used to be best friends, get along. And those are the things that I think about.
I want a divorce now. That's what I want. I want a divorce now. I'm done.
So that's it. Gino has made up his mind and he doesn't want to continue with this marriage. Any hopes that Jasmine may have had that they could reconcile have now gone up in smoke. I mean, we could all see it coming, couldn't we? Although Jasmine somehow feels blindsided by this, surely everyone and their dog knew that once they decided on an open marriage, this would just be a matter of time. But let's rewind to the start to find out what Gino's breaking point finally was. So, the last time we saw them, Gino was leaving Vegas and he'd promised Natalie that he was going to get closure with Jasmine. And when we join him in this episode, Gino has gone to visit cousin Dana, who's eager to know how things went in Vegas.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oh, come on.
It was so fun. I mean, I met Natalie. We ended up going to like an ice bar in Vegas.
Now, keep in mind, Dana and Michelle have been a great source of support for both Gino and Jasmine. Like, as Gino explains, even though both of them felt like the whole open marriage idea was a terrible idea, they were still there for them. So, unlike all of his communication problems with Jasmine, with Dana, Gino feels like he can open up to him. He can tell him how great things went with Natalie. But he also tells Dana about Natalie's ultimatum. She wants me to break up with Jasmine for good, Gino reveals. And to that, Dana has just one question. Does Jasmine know about any of this?
I haven't really cared to talk to Jasmine, to be honest.
Don't you want some clarity too, though?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't wait.
Remember, at this point, Gino kicked Jasmine out of the house months ago. Like, they've barely spoken a word since. Like, both of them do still consider themselves married, but they're living completely separate lives. They're both in this state of purgatory, ambiguity. None of them know exactly where they stand. And frankly, that's no way to live. One of them is going to have to bite the bullet and make the first move, make the final decision. But the thing is, Gino is totally dreading that conversation.
It's going to be a hard conversation because it's not going to be very civil.
On your end or her end?
I think more her.
Yeah.
I think she's often very angry.
I'm sure we can all understand why Gino is so reluctant. If Jasmine has the propensity to blow up over the tiniest little thing, then heaven knows how she'll react to this. But Dana doesn't want Gino to give up just yet. In fact, he gives Gino a bit of an inside scoop. He tells Gino what Jasmine was saying to Michelle the other day. Jasmine still misses you, she still loves you, he tells Gino. She's still hopeful somehow that you can make this marriage work. And deep down, despite everything, Dana still feels like Gino feels the same way too.
He's struggling, but I think that there's still like this little bit of glimmer in his eye for Jasmine. I mean, I could really see that there's something there.
Now, for his part, Gino is in a state of confusion. He doesn't seem to know how he'd react if Jasmine still wants him. But the question is, even if Jasmine did want him, he needs to ask himself, does he want it? Is it worth fighting for this marriage? It doesn't seem like either of them are happy, like they haven't been happy in years. Does he really think that they can figure that all out? Or is it time to face reality?
I really, in my heart, I want to have hope that Jasmine and I can fix our relationship. But Jasmine broke my heart into a million pieces.
And that's it, isn't it? For as much as he might want to have hope, the truth is, understandably, Gino feels completely betrayed and hurt by Jasmine. He may have given her the green light to do it, but ultimately her sleeping with Matt has killed their marriage. It's broken his heart into a million pieces. And there's just no way back from that. But when we meet up with Jasmine, she seems to be in a totally different headspace. In fact, she's going all out to try and make herself look the best that she can. She wants to remind Gino of what he's missing out on. And that, her beauty regime, includes wearing a face mask in a makeshift sauna. Oh, the price of trying to look good, I guess. But on that topic of price, I'm sure this is a heck of a lot cheaper than all the other work she had done on Gino's dime. Still, as soon as Matt gets home, he can immediately sense that something's different, and it's not just her face mask.
Gino sent me an email,
Glad he knows how to use the internet.
right? He's asking if we could meet.
Matt just has to have a little dig, doesn't he? I mean, don't get me wrong, Gino emailing rather than calling or heck sending a text message to Jasmine is quite a strange decision. It's literally choosing the most distant form of communication possible. It's one step removed from trying to fax her or send her a pager message, but at the same time, Matt's contribution isn't exactly helpful. I mean, he's clearly not happy for Jasmine. And while Jasmine herself seems positive and optimistic about the fact that Gino reached out, she's also still worried. She's worried about what Natalie means for the equation.
I want to believe that things didn't work out well for him in Vegas, and it was just a realization for him to miss me.
Yeah, sorry Jasmine, but if that's what you're hoping for, you're gonna be disappointed. Gino had the time of his life in Vegas. Now, while learning about this will suck for Jasmine, for Matt, it might be great news. You see, he's still clinging on to the hope that he and Jasmine might have a shot at a real relationship.
Is there a little bit of hope, maybe that me and her could somehow work out, that I want to keep her or whatever? Yeah, of course. I mean, I have feelings for Jasmine beyond friendship.
This guy is a nasty piece of work, isn't he? Sorry, but no one can convince me he hasn't had these exact same feelings from the very start. Like, going into an open relationship, a relationship that's meant to have no emotions attached, with that kind of outlook, was always gonna be a disaster. Like, he was always gonna act in a way that sabotaged Gino and Jasmine's marriage. And I'm sorry, but it's ironic, it's too late that Jasmine now says she wants to do what's best for her marriage. Now, she is at least self-aware enough to know that what's best for her marriage might well mean the end of her marriage. But she is still optimistic. She's hopeful that she and Gino might be able to work things out. And if there's a shot at that, I'd be willing to do anything, she says. I'd happily sacrifice Matt for the chance of getting back with Gino, she says.
Of course, I'm gonna choose Gino because he's my husband and I do love him. And we used to be best friends, get along. And those are the things that I think about.
Sorry, but that admission just annoys me. It's tragic. Where was this clarity of thought before you were issuing ultimatums that you absolutely must f*** Matt or your marriage is over? I mean, it's all well and good to now talk about how you're best friends and you'd happily give up Matt for Gino, but it's too late now. You've made your bed, you've chosen Matt, and now you're going to have to live with the consequences. And as for Matt, as he watches the woman that's currently carrying his baby, whether he knows it or not, walk out of his house to go and meet her husband, Matt is crossing his fingers and praying that it goes terribly.
I hope Gino just shows the same old colors again, because maybe one of these times it'll click in her head, and then I think she will see me for who I am.
So at least we found one thing that Matt and Gino both agree on. Matt believes that Jasmine will be happier if she and Gino stop repeating toxic patterns, and Gino clearly feels the same way too. The only person that doesn't seem to feel this way is Jasmine. You see, the kicker is, as she heads to this meeting hoping that tonight might be the night that she moves back into Gino's house, little does she know she's in for a massive disappointment. You see, Gino has showed up to this meeting carrying most of Jasmine's possessions. He's ready to hand them all back, and while he can't resist smelling her clothing because it still reminds him of her, he is now adamant that he's made his decision. So what is it that's tipped him over the edge? Why is he now so sure? Well, as we're soon about to see, Gino has uncovered some new information that he says changed everything for him. After finding this out, I refuse to give her another chance, he says.
Jasmine broke her vows long before she proposed an open marriage. And this makes my decision a lot easier.
Now, we'll get to what exactly it is that Gino's found out shortly. But, ominously, he tells us that after looking at old phone bills, his decision has now been made. If there was any uncertainty before, he's now chosen Natalie and completely turned his back on Jasmine. The thing is, Jasmine doesn't have a clue. She's still living in cloud cuckoo land. She's still dreaming of a bright future for her and Gino.
Everything is gonna go back to us we were at the beginning when we got married.
She must have selective memory, mustn't she? Like, she's rewriting history here. Remember, Gino admitted to Natalie in the last episode that he and Jasmine hadn't had sex since before they got married. Like, she's here acting as if the beginning of their marriage was great, but need I remind you, it was already failing before the wedding photographer had even had the chance to return their wedding album. That's how bad it was. Now, with these delusions running through her mind, unfortunately for Jasmine, no sooner does she arrive at Gino's car does it suddenly dawn on her that those hopes may have been completely unrealistic.
It feels like a bad omen. I mean, Gino, his tone of voice, my clothes in the trunk. It doesn't look like a person that is trying to take me back at all.
What gave it away, Jasmine? The clothes in the back? The cold death stare, perhaps? Yeah, it's at this moment that Jasmine has just realised maybe Gino's time in Vegas with another woman did go well after all. Now, Jasmine immediately looks to start pointing fingers. This must be the new woman's doing, she says. Nothing had changed between me and Gino for months, and yet suddenly one weekend away with another woman, and he's suddenly here returning my clothes. So, is there anything you want to tell me? What did you get up to last weekend? She asks Gino.
I've recently met a woman, okay? And I went and met her recently in Las Vegas, okay?
While you're married to me.
Seriously, Jasmine, are you the pot or the kettle? Give me a break. What leg do you have to stand on here? You're literally pregnant with your buddy's baby. Now, regardless, Jasmine asks to know how the trip went. So Gino, enjoying it a little bit too much, wanting a little bit too much to rub it in her face, tells her that it went really well. I'm not used to having such a good time with a woman, he says. It made a nice change considering all we do is fight.
So you're comparing 3 days while you paying for everything and being at Vegas to almost 5 years of relationship.
Now, you do have to give it to her. She is making a valid point here. Getting on with someone, connecting with them when you're on vacation together is easy. Like, you can't compare that to real life, a real relationship that spans many years. But Gino says that the difference is we were always fighting, even when we were on vacation. Things with Natalie are just so easy, so much easier. And that really seems to affect Jasmine.
I have missed you so much, and you don't love me now. You're happy and you found the perfect woman that is gonna give you all the things that I couldn't.
From the looks of Gino's face here, he really doesn't seem impressed by this outburst. You can frame it however you want, he says to her. You can blame it on me and Natalie, but the reality is very different. And it's at this point that Gino finally reveals exactly what it is that he's found out.
I recently found out that you were cheating on me with him 4 months before I agreed to open marriage.
Excuse me?
Now, Gino is convinced that based on the phone records, Jasmine and Matt's relationship started a lot earlier than he was led to believe. But Jasmine denies this completely. What you're saying just isn't true. It's not possible, she says to him. Yeah, sure, me and Matt were friends. We were communicating before you agreed to an open marriage, she says, which is actually something that we saw at the last resort. Like, she's not ever hidden that, as far as I'm aware. But she maintains what you're accusing me of just isn't possible.
There is no freaking way on earth. I've been dating Matt since November because I met this guy at the end of December.
I swear to God, she says, God give me a disease if I lie to you. I never cheated on you, Gino, she desperately tries to convince him. Now, she does admit that her reason for the phone calls to Matt wasn't because, as Gino thinks, they were cheating, but rather because Matt would give her a lift to the gym when Gino refused to. But she's adamant that that's it. Nothing more ever happened at that point.
You cheated the on me 5 months after our marriage.
So then was
How's that
Christmas
sound?
and New Year, and I was not with
Yeah.
him. I didn't even know him.
Yeah, you did.
Now, Gino isn't buying any of this. He says to her, I've got the evidence, I'm going to print it out and show you, but I'm done talking. So, do I believe Jasmine? Well, no, not really, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Jasmine cheated? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're at it, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. YouTube tells me that nearly 70% of people watching this aren't subscribed, so if that's you, what are you waiting for? Come on, hit that subscribe button. Now, my take on this is, at the very least, right, at the very least, Jasmine was emotionally cheating. But at this point, it doesn't really matter, does it? Like, whatever the truth, it's abundantly clear at this point that these two have absolutely zero shot at figuring out their marriage. It is now over.
I want a divorce now. That's what I want. I want a divorce now. I'm done.
Look, at this stage, unfortunately, this is the right decision. It was the right decision then, as they were filming this, and it's even more the right decision now, since Jasmine and Matt have gone on to have a child together. Now, surprisingly, Jasmine kind of accepts it. She just says, I'm not going to beg you for anything. I was convinced that she would erupt or something, but she's actually a lot calmer than I thought she would be. Perhaps the months apart, the months of not speaking, have made this slightly easier. And as she takes her clothing out of his car, refusing his help, and as Gino vigilantly makes sure that she doesn't take any of his hats by mistake, just like that, after all these years, they're now done.
It's sad that it turned out this way, but I mean, it is what it is.
No, all my fault. Be at peace. Be happy.
Yeah, that's not exactly the warmest or most heartfelt of well wishes I've ever heard, but at the same time, Jasmine really didn't see this coming today. Like, she has been completely blindsided here. Now, the thing is, totally incapable of seeing her own role in the downfall of her marriage, Jasmine instead chooses to blame it all on another woman. This is all because of Natalie, she says.
All of a sudden, he wants to get a divorce. I'm not stupid. I know what's going on. This woman put ideas in his mind.
Yes, okay, Natalie did want Gino to make a decision, but I'm sorry, you can't blame this all on her. You can't blame this on a weekend together when you guys weren't even speaking or living with each other for months before that. There's 1,000,001 reasons why Gino might want a divorce, but putting all the blame on Natalie just isn't fair. So, what happens now? There's still an entire season to go. I'm curious to see the next installment in their story. But, hallelujah, this chapter is now over.